Coming up on the Tuesday show, episode 1 is 54 minutes long, episode 2 is 47 minutes long, episode 3 is 49 minutes long, episode 4 is 58 minutes long. There's no consistency anymore.
I just think that we were ahead of the curve.
Absolute idiots.
Strange and a fragile thing.
Welcome to the Tuesday show with CJ and Ted.
I was watching the other day, Reacher on Amazon Prime, which is, do you know the movies Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise?
No,
I mean I haven't seen them either, but there's now a show on Prime called Reacher, starring Alan Ritchson, who I guess up to this point hasn't really been that well known. He's a terrific actor. Everything I've seen him in, I really enjoy it. Even when he kind of just pops in for a very short time, it's almost like he comes in and he just makes this show, 100 times better just by being there. I think he's a really, really good actor. But anyway, I was watching the show Reacher, and I'm trying to gauge how long I need to invest to watch this show. It's eight episodes long, so right. I'm picturing 40, maybe 45 minutes per episode. So that'll give me what? So 2 episodes is an hour and a half, so 8 of them would be 6 hours. So I'm picturing I need to invest 6 hours to binge this show back to back, which is 100% a binge-worthy show.
Okay.
It's really good.
Binge-worthy, yes.
Binge-worthy show.
Okay.
But I was looking at I go through the, when I go onto Prime or Netflix, I look at like the episode list just to see A, how many there are, and B, roughly how long they are. Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed is that episodes for binge shows or streamed shows now, they're not a fixed time anymore. Mm-hmm. So you think about, regular network TV an episode would be, say, 40 minutes. I guess I'm thinking maybe the US, or 22 minutes seem to be the sweet spot for like sitcoms, because they'd have a couple of ad breaks in between in the US, which would extend it to half an hour. And you could say to yourself, great, this show's going to be on for 22 minutes, so if I watch 3 of them, it's going to take me an hour and 6 minutes to watch 3 episodes. Mm-hmm. I can't do that anymore. Now I have to go through and do some crazy calculations to figure out exactly how long a season actually runs for.
You say have to, but
because they're all. I do have to, yeah. When it's Friday night and or even a Thursday night, and I want to watch this show, but I need to figure out what time to stop so I can go to bed, or whether I can, just shoehorn in that last episode before going to bed so I can finish off the season, because I don't like doing things by half. I don't like leaving a job half done. So I have to finish the job and finish watching the show. And I'm sitting there having to work out and to calculate how long I actually have to invest in a show when episode 1 is 54 minutes long, episode 2 is 47 minutes long, episode 3 is 49 minutes long, episode 4 is 58 minutes long. And I'm like, there's no consistency anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's made by a streaming company and delivered directly to a streaming platform, it's never going on to network TV. There's no consistency in the length of the show anymore, which isn't a massive problem. But it just got me thinking, is it because they feel like within they say this show should be roughly 45 minutes to 50 minutes long, around that mark? For like a drama show, that seems to be like a sweet spot. Somewhere between 40 and 50 minutes seems to be the sweet spot for a drama. Do the producers say it should be between 40 and 50 minutes long? Or do they go, no, the standard is 45 minutes, but it's okay if you have a little bit of wiggle either way. And then the people who actually make the show just go, that's fine. If it runs on for a bit longer, it's okay. It's not a massive problem. It's not like we got to worry about commercials, or we have to worry about the scheduling for the next TV show to come in. People are just going to watch this whenever they want it. Is it laziness, or is it done on purpose? I don't know. I'd like to know.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a free-for-all, isn't it? I mean,
it feels like it, doesn't it?
I suppose if you don't have the restrictions, then why impose them?
Well, it's like a license to just go do whatever you want,
Yeah, license to do. Yeah. It's very much like the Tuesday show. All the old episodes available. Back to the beginning of
Yep.
back to the beginning of 2018.
Oh God.
No two episodes have the same length. So I just think that we were ahead of the curve.
Clearly we were. Yeah, 100% we were. But I just found it interesting because I was like, if I go back and watch an older show, or a show that is generally on, broadcast on network TV, which then has a kind of a transfer into the streaming service, you could not set your watch by them, but you can pre-plan exactly how long something's going to take just by knowing how long one episode is. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, if it's a direct-to-stream scenario, not so much.
Yeah. It's something that confused me recently. And I don't know, obviously it didn't before, but I've just started, I'm probably a season and a half in, but I just started rewatching Black Mirror.
Okay. I haven't seen that myself, but
there are no episode numbers, certainly on Netflix. So it's just done by title. But it seems all sort of back to front, so I don't know quite where I'm up to at any particular point. It doesn't matter because they're all individual stories.
Yeah.
But you've never seen any Black Mirrors then?
No, I haven't seen Black Mirror at all.
Oh.
Not entirely sure what it's like.
It's good. Again, they're all very, very different, but it's very... how would I describe it? It's very dark drama. It's not quite science fiction, but a kind of a dystopian fiction, science fiction-y type thing. The link between the episodes is technology.
Right.
The spread of really the spread of technology and where it would take us. So there are some things that you might think, okay, that isn't possible, but it could be. It could be possible. Okay. And I think the general vibe of it is not necessarily that it's futuristic. Some are a little bit futuristic, but it's almost like it's set in the present day. But almost as though it's a slightly alternate universe.
I was going to say
it's something that's slightly different, and we have some. Again, some of them are not. Some of them are taking the technology that currently exists, and kind of incorporating that into the story.
I'm just reading the summary online. It says an anthology series exploring a twisted high-tech multiverse where humanity's greatest innovations and darkest instincts collide.
That's basically what I said.
Yeah, created by Charlie Brooker. So, which I think he's appeared on some like panel show type things before. I think.
Yes, he did a sort of a half satirical review type show. God, probably about 10 years ago or something.
Just having a look. Charlie Brooker's Weekly Wipe.
Yeah, that was it.
Is that the one?
When was that?
2015.
Yeah, not far off.
Not far off.
Oh, just what is my perception of time like?
The thing is, what's anyone's perception of time like? How often do you go? Yeah, it was literally only a couple of years ago, and then you find out it was literally 20 years ago, something, and you're like, what? Where did that time go?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the thing I did the other week. Turns out it was about 6 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day, and it was actually like 2 years ago. Yeah. It's weird how your memory and recollection works like that. You just somebody could say something, and there's just that instant trigger of, what's. That instant memory trigger, and you're just like, oh yeah, that literally only happened like the other day, because it's still so clear in your mind as to what happened.
Yeah,
but like I say, when in actual fact, it's more like a couple of years. So a great amount of time has passed since then.
Many sleeps have passed.
Yes, Many sleeps from Christmas have passed since then.
Yes. I think one of my most popular phrases is I've slept since then, which is, I think I possibly overuse, but it's largely an excuse for not remembering
I use
a bloody thing.
I use that at work when someone talks to me about something we spoke about that same day. Do you remember we were talking about this morning? And I went, no, I slept since then.
Yeah.
And they go, huh? And I'm like, it's fine. I slept since then is generally a placeholder for I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Or still, I slept at the point at which you were telling me that last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily very good at remembering things.
But surely it's all about what's important to you at the time.
Well, quite, yeah.
As to what you remember. Like, you know, you remember your mum's birthday because it's important to you. You remember what food you like because it's important to you. You know, maybe there's an element of repetition in there, which obviously helps with, you know, memory retention. But if it's a passing comment or something about something really inconsequential, you're just going to be like, I don't know, did I? Are you sure? I had a conversation with my mum the other day, actually, about apparently when I was younger, I didn't return a library book. And she got like a £3, got to pay a £3 fee.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay. She was like, do you not remember? I went, no. A, I was probably really young, and B, it's not something I particularly care about right now. So I'm not going to remember.
Yeah, that's right. But this happens to me, and it was, you know, a conversation that apparently I had with somebody, you know, like a week ago, and I will have no recollection of it. Yeah. And sometimes I think it's a conversation that women do this. They will have a conversation, a full conversation with you, but they'll do both sides. Like, they'll talk at you, and then in their head, you're replying, but none of it really occurs. And then a few weeks later, say, do you remember we talked about that? It's like, there's no we.
Yeah,
you spoke about that whilst I was doing something else. Whilst I was watching something, you were wittering on about something. But no, we didn't have a conversation. That's not what I call a conversation.
Yeah, there is no we.
Yeah. So my responses are: was I awake? Was this first thing in the morning? Was this last thing at night? Was I facing you at the time?
At what point during my first cup of coffee of the day was I? How far through it?
Yeah,
I've used that one before, actually. Yeah, how far through my first cup of coffee was I before you started talking to me?
But the memories are a very strange and fragile thing. What's interesting is, you know, you mentioned your mum saying, "Oh, do you remember such and such?" There are things that I've had, you know, parents say, "Oh, do you remember the time when, you know, this happened or that happened?" And I think to myself, I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because so often it's something that's, you know, they remember, and you've been told about it so many times that actually, even though it's in your head as a memory, you don't know whether you actually remember it or not.
No.
You've been told the story so many times that you can picture it, but did it actually happen? You know,
exactly.
Oh, did you make that sandcastle? Do you remember making that sandcastle? I don't know. I mean, I remember being told about it.
Yeah.
And it's very, and that's kind of an example of how you can see how false memories can be planted in people's heads.
What do they call that? Is it the Mandela effect?
Now that's an interesting one.
I think it's called the Mandela effect, where it's basically it's a false recollection of an event.
Yes, well, that's a strange one, because that is I think the Mandela effect is just something where I don't know, a whole section of the community somehow
commonly held false memory.
Yeah, which is weird. But people's memory is not great. Like, for example, when it comes to eyewitnesses, you'd think, oh, great, we've got an eyewitness. They must know exactly what was going on. But generally speaking, they are as fallible as anything else. I mean, probably a good eyewitness is probably a video camera or something. But actually, an individual will recall things in a different way to somebody who stood right next to them. Like, for example, if you're walking down the street, you hear a bang, you turn around, there's a car and there's a bicycle. The bicycle's on the floor. The cyclist is, there with his arm covered in blood. Before you know
blood
it,
everywhere.
Yeah, blood everywhere. But the point is, you see this. A policeman comes along and says, "Oh, were you here?" You say, "Yes, I saw what happened. The car hit the bike, and the guy fell off his bike and hurt his arm in the process." Okay, great. Didn't see any of it.
No, complete
because
lies.
You heard a bang and you turned around and you saw what the result was.
Yeah, and your brain kind of filled in the gaps for you.
Your brain filled in the gap, and you might be stood next to somebody else who saw it, or you might be stood next to somebody else who didn't see it, and you talk about it and you say, "Oh, I can't believe that happened. He just came out of nowhere." Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. And before you know it, you're convinced that you saw something.
Yeah.
That may well not have happened.
Yeah, or like you say, when you talk to somebody else and they give you their accounts, and then your brain will fill in the gaps with their information.
Yeah,
but then it might also change the because you're in a different position. The perspective will change, and it's a bit. Memory is a funny thing.
Yeah, and also there's this perspective of the of what has happened. So, say for example, say if it's a car and a bike, if you see a car and a bike post-accident, the chances are, in your head, you're going to think, bad car, good bike. You don't know what happened, but, you kind of automatically, you feel more empathy towards the guy with the broken arm rather than the person who's sat behind the steering wheel pretty much unaffected.
Yeah. When in reality, it could 100% be the cyclist's fault.
Yeah.
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 Which, I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. The number of times I've been driving down the road and the cyclists will just throw themselves out in front of you and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Literally, they haven't looked at all. They've just come tearing down the road, out of junction and pulled in front of you without looking, and you're like, what are you doing? Yeah, absolute idiot. One of my old company cars had the old auto braking, like person or hazard detection thing. So it would automatically apply the brakes if it detected something in front of you. The number of times a cyclist would come out of a junction and the car would just slam the brakes on. I'm just like, what the fuck is that? And then I realise there's a bloody cyclist there.
Yeah.
Even though it's quite far away and I was more than capable of reducing my own speed, the car did it for me anyway. But yeah,
and you're
crazy.
like, bloody hell, nearly dropped my phone into my coffee then.
Damn it, I've dropped my phone in the footwell, for fuck's sake. Fucking cyclist.
That was The Tuesday Show.
Get in touch with us, all the links are in the description. And until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.